Family, what's going on? It's Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube with the breaking update on this beautiful Saturday. We have Khalifa Keith, who has just committed to the Alabama Crimson Tide. Came in over the weekend. He's a 6'1", 230-pound running back. He commits to the Alabama Crimson Tide on Saturday evening following his visit to Tuscaloosa. We'll dive into it. I want to get your take inside the comment box in terms of your excitement about Alabama adding another running back. Earlier today, probably about, what were we live? About 2:45 p.m., we kind of previewed what might be a commitment, kind of looked like a commitment. And I'll tell you why I feel that this makes sense, that Alabama needed another running back. Because at first, for a while, I kind of felt that Alabama didn't need a running back. And I'll show you the whole running back depth chart in just a second. But I was thinking about it. I was like, where Alabama is right now, and they got guys, clearly. And I don't think with, Khalifa Keith coming in, I don't think they're expecting him to be like the guy, the featured guy. I think in this particular situation, you needed a veteran. You needed a bigger style running back to kind of fit into the program. So let's get everybody checked in. I appreciate you guys being here. Hopefully you're enjoying this beautiful Saturday, and hopefully you're warm. My goodness, it has been absolutely freezing across, I know, at least the southeast, right? Especially up our friends up in Tennessee who are still probably frozen in. So let everybody get checked in, and then we'll go ahead and discuss Alabama's latest commitment from the transfer portal. This is actually the 19th transfer portal edition for Coach Kalen DeBoer going into the season. Is there a magic number in terms of what they want to get? I don't know about that. I would imagine if it makes sense for the roster, now that they have 105 roster spots, they could probably add whoever they want. So we'll take it as it comes. So I appreciate you guys being here. I'll let everybody get checked in, and then we'll start to dive into Alabama's newest commitment, who is Khalifa Keith. What's up to our early people who are checking in? 2389, what's up, man? I appreciate you. Thank you so much. He says, this is a talented player, even if you had not come the best career up at this point. Appreciate you being here. Miss Kimberly, what's up? Appreciate you being here. We got Tucker, 5316. He's saying that having two bruisers is kind of the key to the fourth quarter. Ooh, I like that. Yeah, we'll hit on that for sure. Thank you so much for the addition inside the comment box. Arnetta Neal, what's up? James, good to see you, man. Appreciate you. Let everybody get checked in. And Ms. Kimberly says it's 25 degrees in Montgomery. Yeah, it's 27 here in Tuscaloosa. This morning it was like was like 2. Yeah, it was absolutely terrible. You guys excited about this pickup on the back end? I mean, yes or no? We don't even do like a scale of 1 to 10. You guys excited? Yes or no about the addition? I'm explaining to you very quickly why this makes sense and why Alabama had to get a transfer. And I know the first thing I posted to Facebook, and somebody's like, "Yo, here comes Texas. Is he signed?" All this stuff. He's going to be on the roster. Okay, I get it. You guys still have PTSD for what that kid did. I don't even know, a couple weeks ago. That was nasty. People probably still won't get over that. That's something that scarred people for years, okay? And I think it's unfortunate. But in this particular case, I think we celebrate it. So let everybody get in, and we're up to 76. You guys hit the thumbs up. Get active inside the comment box. Let me know if you're excited about Alabama adding Khalifa Keith, okay? I think we should be good to go. Okay. Let's take it away. I think when you look at this, I mean, the realistic viewpoint, do we have a parade and do we go dance in the streets about somebody like this? No, but we celebrate it from the fact that you want to be able to make smart moves. I think this particular situation, picking up Khalifa Keith, what it means to me is it's going back to that need checklist. After you've kind of started building your roster, you zoom out, right? And you're like, oh, you know what? Looking at the Alabama running back room, we probably do need a veteran. And earlier in the transfer portal, clearly Alabama told us that they were targeting multiple running backs. Some of the running backs in my mind didn't make sense. I was like, there's no way that this guy comes in here. And because the guys that they were targeting, in my mind, it felt like those guys were going to be starters wherever they went. We have starters here, right? And I think, as I said on my 245 show, we have starters, and it's going to be, in my opinion, a rotation of guys. We have different levels of running backs. We have bruisers. We have all-purpose. We have fast guys. And that's going to help Alabama through the gauntlet of the season. But when I started thinking about it and when I saw Khalifa Keith come in on the board this weekend, I was like, man, you know what? This does make sense because of his size. He's our second biggest back, right? Our backs, right? Let's face it. I mean, we got Daniel Hill, who's like, what, 245, I guess, maybe 250. And then you have Keith now, who's about 240 pounds. So he's another bruiser. You got two speed backs, Kevin Riley and I guess Trayshawn Brown. And then you have two, I guess, all-purpose style backs in A.K. Deere and Crowell. You know, I forget that A.K. Deere is 212 pounds. So you got a good, healthy mixture of running backs. And with Keith coming, what it does, and I know this particular, when you look at this, you're like, man, he didn't do anything. He's the 100th, running back in the portal. Well, let's not, like I said, you're not bringing in a guy to be the starting running back. So right here, this doesn't mean anything to me. I mean, what is there to look at? There's no volume, right? What you do is you look here. You look at the depth chart overall, and you're like, okay, we got Daniel Hill, probably going to be a starter. I don't think there's going to be like a bona fide, legitimate featured back this year. I don't think so, okay? If there was going to be, it's going to be Crowell, but he's probably a year away from being that guy. Now, he could emerge to be that guy this year, but right now, he's not like the bona fide starter. What it is it's a running back room kind of by committee and where we're at, right? So you got Daniel Hill, okay, definitely bona fide player. That means he's going to start. Like, he's going to play, he's going to carry the ball 10 to 12 times, okay? Kevin Riley means he's going to get opportunities. And A.K. Deere and Crowell, those guys are going to play as well, right? It's going to be kind of a mixture of those guys. And one might separate themselves, and I hope somebody does. I personally like when there's a featured back. But if you have two running backs that are capable to kind of ground and pound, you saw that formula work like in Indiana, right, this past year. Trayshawn Brown, let's consider him in development. No disrespect. There's nothing wrong with being in development. Like, just because you're kind of getting used to college and you're building your body up, who knows? I don't know. Maybe he busts out the scene. But realistically, he's probably a little bit out from playing, which is totally okay, okay? So, really, to me, you have 4 running backs. That is not enough for an SEC gauntlet of a schedule. Let's be realistic, okay? The first 5 games, I think, you figure out where you are from like a puncher standpoint. And then the next 5 after that, those are gauntlet type games where you are going to need your running backs. And look, running backs, they get banged up, they get dinged up. That's a position where you're going to get, a little bit twisted up from time to time. And that's okay, because now we'll add it to the graphic for tomorrow's show. But you have Khalifa Keith coming in as another big body that can take some load off. It's almost like kind of a insurance policy in a sense for, Daniel Hill. Like when Daniel Hill needs a blow and it's another, short yardage and you want to pound the rock, well, you can go to Keith now, because outside of him, he's a big back. And there's a big difference between his size and like even A.K. Deere, who I guess is the second biggest back on the team. Now you have 2 really big backs. And I will say this, and I'm going to touch on this again because I really liked thinking about this. When I was thinking about Miami and Indiana, I really want to emphasize the fact that we had 2 teams that just played in the championship, and they had a lot of commonalities, right? One team used 2 running backs that were clearly older, but were clearly kind of like a A.K. Deere and a Crowell, right? The Indiana running backs, would you say? And the way that they used those guys was very effective. And they just kept pounding, and they kept pounding, and they kept pounding. And eventually, by the third quarter, like Signetti said, it wore you down 1,000,000%, right? You were done, right? It's physical football, and that helps you play in January. Now, on the other side, what Miami did with Fletcher is he's a bigger back, probably like Khalifa Keith, right? I don't think he's as big as Daniel Hill. I think he's like 225 pounds, whatever it is. He was a featured back that they fed the rock to, and he can make big plays. He can make explosive plays. But the point was, each of those teams did it by running the ball a different way by utilizing their running backs. For me, if I was the offensive coordinator right here, number one, you got to commit to running the football. But number two, you do have the backs to be able to run, in my mind, Indiana's system. okay? And whether that's a heavy dose, think about this, okay? Crowell's going to get his 100%, okay? He's going to play 100%. But think about this, just this duo in the first couple games of the season. What about how does this sound? Do you like this? Yes or no inside the comment box. Do you like a healthy dose of Daniel Hill and AK Deer? Does that sound good to you? How about giving Daniel Hill about 8 to 9 carries and AK Deer, another 8 to 10? That's at least getting us to that 20 spot running the football, which you could still run more. You get an additional 5 carries, maybe like a jet sweep or something. So who knows, whatever it is, right? One razzle-dazzle play that at least gives these opportunities to for us to commit to the football and what that will open up, because I think this running back room here, and like I said, I'm going to add Keith to the graphic tomorrow. I like that idea. And if you come with a short yardage situation point to where you need 2 yards or it's 4th and goal or whoever knows, you also have Keith to come in and to be that big bulldozer type guy. So if you're just joining us, and I know a lot of people popping in because the news just happened, Khalifa Keith has just committed to Alabama. He was at Tennessee for 2 years, and he was at App State for 1 year. He doesn't have a lot of volume, and that's probably what people are going to pick on, right? People are going to say Alabama's broke. Alabama just got the number 100 running back in the system. And that's fine. People can say whatever they want. And I'm not saying we go out and this guy is going to be a reason that Alabama wins a championship. What I'm saying is it makes sense from a roster standpoint, right? Because when you look at the roster here, you got 2 freshmen that just got here. The chances that 2 freshmen are automatically ready to play at this physical of a level in the SEC is near impossible. One certainly is, Xavier Crowell. By the way, he should still be in high school. So bringing in another back makes a total sense to me. And I get it. Realistic scale, how big of an impact is Khalifa Keith to Alabama's running back room? Probably like a 5, a 6 out of 10. He doesn't change the room, but you didn't need a running back to come in and be like the starter. Would that have been something they might have explored? Maybe. But it's also about paying the right guys and making sure that from, a financial standpoint, all this is making sense. And I think in this particular case, you go out, you saw who else was on the board after you've kind of looked at your roster, and you add Khalifa Keith as a running back. They wanted a running back. They targeted different running backs. A lot of the running backs that they went after just didn't make sense to me. I don't necessarily call them misses, and I know a lot of people out there still burnt because of the Smothers deal, but that sucks, and we move past that. But you didn't need a starter like that. You know what I'm saying? Tough as nails. What's up, man? I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm just chilling. I just made some food. I was just kicking it. I had a big glass of water, some grilled chicken, some broccoli. And to be honest, I was watching an episode of Seinfeld. I was kind of waiting for this news to break anyway, so that's why I have kind of everything together. I expected it to happen. It made sense to me kind of from looking at it from this standpoint. So I welcome it. I think it's good from a roster standpoint addition. When you look at all the 18 commitments right here, and now we're up to 19, is there, a number that we need to get to? I don't know what the number will be. Will we get to 25 guys? Maybe. Doesn't matter. There's 105 spots. It's about making sure that the right guys are here for your roster standpoint. I like Big Bama 10 inside the comment box says he could be good for a blocking back. Damn good point. And that's an area that Gillespie needs to turn up the heat, right? Because if there was one particular area, as well as not committing to the run game as much as they should, it wasn't there was the backs. What, do you agree with this? Yes or no? Like Big Bama said, yes or no inside the comment box. Do you agree that Alabama was mid in pass blocking? I saw, and I love Jam, and I love Daniel Hill. I saw those guys get beat too many times, to be honest. At least, I can think of at least 3 times for each of the backs to where they got pushed back, missed an assignment, and that led to a fumble, or it led to something bad, right? So that's another good point. Overall, and I'll get, I guess, another page added to add one more, roster piece. That'll be 19. I've discussed this group several times, and on Wake Up Bama, what I was discussing is the fact that Alabama has a really good mix of some veterans that they brought in from the transfer portal, right? And then they got some guys with multi-year eligibility, which I thought was really smart. Some guys that are veterans that I can point out on this graphic. Caleb Woodson, he's a veteran. Devin Tompkins, he's a veteran on the defensive side. Let's see. Noah Rogers, he's got experience. Dalgotti's got experience. Terrence Green has experience, right? And Javen James down here as a tackle, he has experience, okay? But then Alabama also, what they did was they added multi-year transfer pieces, and that's kind of been a method to Coach Kalen DeBoer's systematic approach in the transfer portal as well. So multi-year guys. You have Strayhorn, right? You also have Watford. He's a guy that's got years. O'Neal, Haywood, Lorcan Quinn. He was just a freshman. Caleb Smith, another guy that just played. He didn't even play last year at Washington. Nick Brooks, Zulu, right? He's got some room to grow. So what they did is kind of mixed and match. And to be honest, I like how they use the transfer portal. Look, you could spend as much money as you want and get all the players and all this sort of stuff. But one of the things that Coach Kalen DeBoer really hit on was the fact that he wanted guys that fit the system and fit the roster from a character standpoint as well. And I thought that was tremendous. I mean, you don't want a guy. Would you rather have, let me ask you this. Would you rather have a guy that's like a bag chaser and kind of a cancer to the program, but I don't know, he might be like damn good? Or would you rather have a guy that kind of has captain type abilities that can contribute to the greater good of the team? I kind of go the other way. Sometimes one particular player in the roster, if it's kind of like a bad apple, not only can they detour and disrupt the locker room, but you know what it can also do is it can kind of tear down the brand a little bit. I'm telling you, one bad thing by a player on the roster can hurt the brand. One bad thing that you do on national television when Alabama's playing in front of 9 million people, you do something, it hurts the brand just like that. And just as well as I do, that everybody is looking for something negative to say about Alabama because it spreads like wildfire. 100%. So you want the right guys that come in here. Alabama also did a really good job in terms of retention. We've discussed that many different times. And I think, how do you build culture kind of going forward? Well, you have the guys that were retained start to implement that thought process on some of these players that just joined from the transfer portal or from the recruiting standpoint. So if you're just joining us, Khalifa Keith has committed to the Alabama Crimson Tide. That gives the Crimson Tide now 6 running backs going into the 2026 season. It makes a lot of sense to me. I've been discussing why. I'm actually going to open up the call-in line. If you guys have questions, comments about the running back situation or about the new running back coming in, I definitely welcome the call. If it's regarding, something else, regarding Alabama playing Florida, whatever, I'm open to that as well. So with that said, I will go to the call-in line. And what I'm going to do is I'll put the call-in line right here at, you'll see it on the bottom right of your screen. It's also in yellow, okay? So we got a bunch of yellow on the screen. 205-850-1994 is the call-in line number. And thank you so much, Lag Gaming. He's been a sponsor of Wake Up Bama for now 3 consecutive months. So we appreciate you for that, Lag. Always appreciate your support, 100%. And Sarah says, Kyle, they are all suffering from PTSD from a variety of reasons, right? All right. It's just, it's crazy how we continue to kind of suffer through some of this stuff that isn't even here anymore or the things that we went through recently. So, I appreciate it. And we'll open up the phone lines if you guys want to chime in to call. So the call line is open now, 205-850-1994. Thank you for kicking it with me tonight as we break down breaking news on this beautiful Saturday. And my goodness, it is seriously so cold. I'm just the freeze point. You know what? I don't think we moved past freezing today here in Tuscaloosa. I really don't. Let's see. Right now, it's 27 now. So I don't know. It's been absolutely freezing today. But we went over a couple different things during the 245 show. Of course, Elijah Haven, the number one quarterback in 2027, he's also predicted to commit to Alabama, which, I mean, the future and the forecast, someone said it best. They said the forecast of Alabama's quarterback room is fantastic. 100%. We went over the quarterbacks. We got to all the way 2029 knowing who the quarterback, I guess, theoretically could be, right? Because of all the quarterbacks that you have on board. You have, I mean, all the way. I know we're talking running backs here, but I was just thinking, you got Austin Mack, Keelan Russell, Damala, right? Seaborn. You have Elijah Haven coming in. It's crazy. We basically know the quarterback until 2029. We just don't know who's particularly going to be the starter in that case. All right, we got any calls? No calls today? Okay, that's fine with me. No. Any questions? Does anybody have questions inside the comment box regarding the new running back edition? And if you're just like, what? You're just turning on your Saturday night show. You're like, what? What happened? Well, Khalifa Keith has just committed to Alabama. He is out of he was coming to us from App State, but he just was at App State, and then the previous 2 years he was at Tennessee, where literally there was like no volume. Okay, but I'm not mad about that. Totally makes sense to me. So that's kind of where we're at, fam. So I get it. We're kind of in. We're out. Khalifa Keith has committed to the Alabama Crimson Tide. And let's see what CDs has to say inside the comment box. Why do they need all these stacked quarterbacks? I don't know. I mean, this is not running back related, clearly. I think about that too. It was like the chances, in my opinion, and this is kind of a hot take, and this probably isn't popular, what I'm about to say. He played at App State last year. You're talking about Khalifa. Regarding the quarterback situation, my biggest fear is that we're paying top dollar to get quarterbacks and to develop them. And then other programs with a much larger bank account, now that they've been developed here at Alabama and they've kind of been stamped Bama, they purchased the quarterbacks from Alabama. I think Alabama wants to develop their quarterbacks. Other programs across the country want to buy their quarterbacks. Okay, a good example is LSU developing quarterbacks. Is Texas Tech developing quarterbacks? Is Miami developing quarterbacks? Is Indiana developing quarterbacks? They might have some quarterbacks on the roster, but they're paying for their quarterbacks, whereas Alabama is hoping that these guys can be patient for 3 years and be here. I don't know. I mean, it's Bama 100%. All it takes is 1 year, but the biggest thing I'm scared about right now in college football is if you don't like play a guy like Keelan this year, and I know everybody in here thinks he's going to start. If he doesn't, Miami offers him a $16 million contract. I mean, you see what they just did? They just purchased Duke's quarterback, right? Those are the kind of things that I'm scared about. Let's see. We have a question. James says, do we need another running back? At first, James, what's up, man? I appreciate you. At first, I thought no. Pretty much for like the first couple weeks, I thought no for the running back position. And I was pretty hard-pressed against it. I was like, number one, is the team even going to commit to running the ball? And then I've never seen more people right now back up Ryan Grubb. Ryan Grubb has so much support right now, and a lot of people have brought up some interesting points. I am not necessarily on that wagon yet. I've kind of been against Grubb, but a lot of people are like, look, Geno Smith did him wrong. The Seahawks, their running backs are banged up. Their offensive line, this and that. A lot of people are saying that Grubb does want to run the football. I don't know. I'm not on that point. So, but the points were made, and I thought some of them were rather interesting and kind of, have been interesting. The other thing was I started looking at the running back room, and I was like, do they need a running back? Because, and I just said this if you missed it. I was like, Trayshawn Brown, probably in development. Crowell just got here. He's going to play. But I was like, they might just have 4 guys who are ready for that SEC kind of grind. That's not enough, right? So I was like, man, I think adding a guy like Khalifa Keith, who's a bigger running back. What do we got out there? Are they? Someone said he's 235 pounds. I think he's so far we've had between like, I don't think anyone said he's 240, but like 230, 225. He's a bigger back for sure. Probably the second biggest back after Daniel Hill now on the roster. And I think he adds another piece, like a bigger back that you can use for the SEC and kind of be behind Daniel, right? Kind of like an insurance type guy. So then I was like, man, that makes a little bit of sense to me because I didn't think you needed a starter coming in, you know? So that was kind of just my take on that. Let's see. Patronic, what's up, man? He says we didn't need another inexperienced running back. Yeah, like a younger guy. Let's see. Tay Kings, what's up, bro? No excuses this year for the run game. And I 100% agree, bro. Like, I think I've been so impressed with kind of the patience of Alabama fans. I don't think they're going to have a lot of patience if Alabama doesn't commit to running the ball more this year. And nobody's asking for a wishbone. Nobody's asking for them just to run the ball 90% of the time. Nobody's asking that. People are asking for setup plays. People are asking for a balanced offense. Shoot, it could be 60-40, right? It's just the running game. We know this because we've seen it in the past. And look, you could say all you want, but I'm gonna die on this, bro. The last time that Alabama had 1,000-yard rushers, okay, was in 2021 and 2020. Those were the last 2 years that they went to the national title. Do we find that coincidental? Like, no. Running the ball open, and guess what? Those years, we were almost throwing for 5,000 yards with our quarterback. So you can't be like, yo, well, if you run the ball, you can't pass. No, you can do both. It actually helps when you can run the ball. Just as we saw the two teams playing in the national title, right? Again, if you're just joining us, Khalifa Keith has committed to the Crimson Tide. Let's see. SM, what's up, bro? Kyle, I heard last week, the locker room in Seattle that, I heard that there was issues there too. And I've been open with this. I think there was some issues with Grubb against some other guys. You know, personalities aren't always going to link up, you know. You got 100 guys on the roster. You think everyone's going to just be happy? No. Some guys have personality clashes. I saw this at Seattle too. I heard Metcalf talking about that. J. Cole, what's up, bro? Appreciate you, man. Yeah, thanks for the spiritual message. 100%, bro. We all need that. Aaron Taylor, what's up, man? I think Daniel should slim down. I think he'd be better. Yeah, 1,000,000%, man. That's the knock on him. If you want to be like real and like talk real world, you know, about the players, he needs to get faster. He's too slow. And there's nothing wrong with saying the truth. I'm sure somebody has been like, yo, we got to get you faster. You're going to run hills. This is what Derrick Henry does. You see this huge-ass hill? You're going to run this 100 times every single day until you get faster. Just like Ryan Williams, you're going to catch this football, okay? Not a Frisbee, not a golf ball, not a tennis ball, not a wrench. You're going to catch a real football, the type that we use in the game, okay? And you're not going to wear goggles, and it's not going to be on a video game. It's going to be real life, and you have to catch 1,000 passes every day, okay? That's what we're going to do. Let's see, Live Gaming, what's up, bro? It felt like we are 95, this season. I would accept us being 70-30. Yeah, right? And there was a lot of reasons, right? Now you can't run the ball because of the offensive line. Okay, well, you could have ran the ball on 4th and 1 with, you chose to do some other, gadget type plays that I'm still upset about. I'm not going to get over that. I'm not going to get over that play that we ran against Indiana. I'm never going to get over it, bro. Unless I did counseling. All right, looks like prayers. Cody needs some prayers inside the comment box, right? All right, Cody, we got you, man. Prayers up for you, bro. B Jamming can't find much video of Khalifa from last year. Wonder why. Yeah, I know. Look, well, this is why, B Jamming. He ran the ball 3 times for 8 yards. So unless you have to find his practice footage, right? The guy never played. Let's see. EL says, I think Elijah or EJ Crowell quickly to college. He might have a Ryan Williams type freshman year. Wouldn't that be amazing? Another in-state guy, right? Just complete. And that would be kind of ironic, too, because he's a running back. That's the one position we need to kind of turn up, and Crowell comes in. And it's hard. It's so hard. I fall into the same group, fam. I, like, go into this fantasy world where, like, Crowell runs for 2,000 yards. Because I saw, dude, his high school highlight tape was crazy. I know that's not realistic, but I'm like, damn, like, he's that type of a guy, right? Uncle Charles, what's up, Uncle Charles? Good to see you, bro. Let's see what Uncle Charles has to say. Uncle Charles says, Kyle, championships are one of the chances. We need speed. Go speed. Yeah, I mean, again, and this is what we keep going to, and you'll hear me talk about this kind of going into spring football. What commonalities did Miami and Indiana have? Were they dominant in the trenches? Yes or no? Hell yeah. Okay? Did they have speed? And did they use their speed? Yes. The way that they design plays to get to Malachi Toney, right? Like, it was beautiful. And they let that speed kind of do the work. They didn't overthink it. They didn't just deep ball him. They were creative in space, and then Indiana was just dominant. They just whooped you, right? Jacob, what's up, bro? He says, I think Hill deserves to be running back number one if he has no offensive line. Or if he has an offensive line, it's going to be a problem. Yo, I don't know why, but every year I stream, like, the video game, right? If you've been here, you've seen me do it. I don't play video games, but every year before I stream it, yo, I almost ran for 2,000 yards with Daniel Hill. It was crazy. People couldn't tackle him on the game. Has anybody used him? It was my second year, so I think I won the title, and then the next year he was my running back, and I just ran over everybody. It was stupid. Alabama Post says Grubb is pass happy. If the running back can't block, then they don't need to be here, and those freshmen can't pass block. Yeah, that's obviously one of the things. My nightmare is that, like, what if, and you know what made my ears perk up too? Was the other night Coach Kalen DeBoer was speaking to a news station out of, I guess, Montgomery. And he brought this up. He said that Austin Mack has been here this will be his fourth year in the system. I was like, whoa, that's a long time. It made my ears perk up. I was like, wait, 4 years. Okay, the first year, Washington, right, the system. Then came here, second year. Third year, I guess, was this year. And this will be his fourth year. Man. Patreonic's not filling the running back. Mike G, what's up, man? Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. All right. The B says, didn't get to use him. Ty Matt Keelan, him. 3 on defense, started transfer out. The wide receivers don't block either. Star Wars says, I also think it'd be funny if Texas didn't make the playoffs despite their roster. They probably won't. That's going to be the craziest thing. And we're about, like, where we're at right now in college sports or college pros. What is this, college pros? What is this? Just because you buy a roster, we've seen teams buy a roster, not to this extent, but we've seen teams try to buy a roster, and I don't know. I think the method that we found out that has worked is being able to buy veteran players. And I know people are like, well, they had a bunch of 3-stars. Those guys aren't 3-stars by the time they're 21, 22 years old. Nobody gives a crap about stars. It's about how they play. Those were 5-stars by the time they were developed. You know what I'm saying? You think, I don't know. I would imagine what Surratt, he was probably a 4-star, I'm sure. What about Omar or Charlie Becker or I don't know, some of the guys that they had on defense? That little defensive back that they had, that guy was a 5-star. The stars can change when you get older. Nobody cares. Oh, he was a 3-star in high school. Nobody gives care. Look at, there's plenty of examples where it's meaningless. Right? A 3-star has nothing to do with when a guy's like 21 years old. There's no difference. Just means that the guy developed, right? Oh, wow. He became a man instead of a boy. Wow. All right, fam. So that's kind of where we're at. Alabama lands Khalifa Keith from the transfer portal. I think it makes sense. Am I saying let's go down to, and celebrate and have a party? Not really. But I think it makes sense from the running back perspective because it adds another depth chart piece, which is important. It's an important part of the game. So don't leave here all pissed off, okay? Enjoy your Saturday, all right? I'm going to go back and eat my chicken and chill, and I'll catch you guys on the next video, all right? News as it happens right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Don't forget, enjoy your life, okay? And tomorrow, watch along. We're doing a live watch along, so I want everybody back inside the crib tomorrow as we got Alabama taking on Florida. Basketball, all right? Yeah, 12, show up, pull up 5 minutes before, bring your popcorn. You grilling or something like that, tell us about it. Bring your chili, whatever you got, bring it. We'll celebrate life right here on Bama Football on YouTube, okay? It's a good life. It's a good life, I promise you. It's cold. It's cold as hell, but it's a good life, all right? Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you soon. Khalifa Keith is in for the Alabama Crimson Tide.